Listening 1. Listening 1. The Art of Storytelling. Listen for main ideas. Page 134.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all had a good weekend and have lots of stories to tell, because this week we're going to look at the art of storytelling. We'll talk about what makes a good story. As I talk about this today, I'm going to be using ideas and examples from a talk by Ira Glass. Glass is one of the best storytellers alive today. You can hear examples of Glass's stories on the public radio show This American Life. Glass tells us that the first ingredient for a story is the anecdote. An anecdote is a story in its simplest form. It's a sequence of events told in order. First this happened, and then that happened, and so on. Told like that, the story sounds very boring. But according to Glass, a story about even the most ordinary events can be interesting. Listen to this example about a man leaving his house. There's a man leaving his house. He comes slowly downstairs and goes to the closet. Slowly he gets his hat and coat from the closet, puts them on, and walks toward the front door. He looks back once toward the kitchen, but it's dark. There's no sound. So he opens the door and walks ever so slowly toward his car. What makes this interesting? As Glass says, there's suspense in it. It feels like something is going to happen. It's like being on a train that has a destination, and you feel that you're going to find out something. A good anecdote also has what Glass calls the bait. In this situation, the bait is the thing that catches your attention and makes you interested in the story. It often makes you ask a question. In this story, the bait is the repetition of the word slowly. It raises the question, why is the man moving so slowly? The listener is curious and wants to find out the answer. As a storyteller, you constantly raise questions. It's as if you are inviting the listener to think of questions, and then you answer them as the story goes on. Another important part of the story for Glass is the moment of reflection. This is the main point of the story. It answers the question, why am I asking you to listen to this story? It isn't enough to have a good anecdote. Glass says that if a story doesn't make you think about or reflect on something, it isn't a good story. So, let's go back to the example about the man leaving his house and see what we can do with it. Let's see if we can imagine a moment of reflection, the main point of the story. First, can anyone tell me who this guy in the story is and why he is so slow about leaving his house? Yes, Adele. Why don't you answer this question?
Listening skill. Making inferences. A. Page 136.
Maybe you know a famous children's story called The Story of the Three Bears. In this story, three bears, a mama bear, a papa bear, and a baby bear, leave their house and go out for a walk. Yes, in the story, the bears live in a house. I mean, it is a children's story. Anyway, while they are out, a little girl named Goldilocks comes to the house. She does many things in the house. She sits in the bears' chairs, she sleeps in their beds, and she eats all of Baby Bear's oatmeal. I'm telling you part of this story because recently a woman in Vancouver, Canada, experienced a real-life version of the story of the three bears. But in her version of the story, the bear came to her house. She came home and found a young bear in her kitchen eating oatmeal. The bear probably came in through an open door. Then it broke a glass jar full of oatmeal and started eating. The woman called the police. They came and tried to get the bear to leave, but it didn't move. Finally, they decided just to let the bear finish eating. It wasn't trying to attack anyone, and it wasn't destroying the house. As one police officer, Sergeant Paul Skelton, said, "At least the bear likes healthy food." Finally, the bear finished the oatmeal, walked out of the house, and disappeared into the forest. The police said that the bear was probably hungry because it just woke up from its long winter sleep. Also, there was a lot of snow on the ground, so finding food was difficult. The oatmeal was just what the bear needed.
B. Page 137. 1.
Well, come on. Don't keep us in suspense. We're curious. What happened?
It was nothing, really. I wasn't paying attention as I came to the red light, and I hit the car in front of me. There was no damage, and the driver was really nice about it.
2.
I don't know what to do about Jack. He's constantly wearing those terrible blue jeans.
Don't worry about it. All the teens dress like that these days. Didn't your parents always complain about your clothes too?
3.
Excuse me, is New Haven the last stop on this train?
No, Boston is our final destination.
Oh, well, then when do we get to New Haven?
In about an hour. Don't worry, we'll announce it in plenty of time.
4.
Do you have all the ingredients you need for the sauce?
Yes, I think so. Oh, and please put a pot of water on the stove for the pasta. I have to finish cutting up the tomatoes and onions.
Sure, no problem. Anything else?
5.
So, how was your day?
Oh, pretty ordinary. You know, the usual thing. I saw a few patients in the office, made hospital visits. No emergencies, thank goodness.
Listening 2. The Great Banana Race. Listen for main ideas. Page 139.
Welcome to the 10th annual storytelling event. Our first storyteller today comes from Nebraska and currently lives in New York City. Please welcome Kate Montgomery.
So, on my way here today, I saw a banana peel in the street, and it reminded me of the Great Banana Race of 2005. At least, I call it the Great Banana Race. Most people call it the New York City Marathon. On a chilly day in November, my sister Deidre and I were on our way to watch the New York City Marathon. Deidre's colleague Sandra was in the race, and she asked us to stand on the northeast corner of Central Park with a banana for her. We planned to stop and get a banana on the way. It's usually easy to buy bananas, but not on that day. Several stores were out of bananas. Anyway, we finally found a little grocery store that had bananas, but we had to buy a whole bunch. The man in the store said, "You can't buy just one banana." So, now here we are at the